Hi there, Patrick Stillwell with Custom Coatings, and I'm going to talk a little bit about floor coating costs. So there's a lot of different factors that goes into the cost of a floor coating. There's a lot of different coatings and a lot of different things to choose from. So let's talk about some basic standard information. Probably the number one thing that is going to impact the cost of a floor coating is the area and the space. So there's always going to be labor involved, there's always going to be material cost involved, tooling, machines, all those things. If you're coating a large area, let's say anything over 1,000 square feet or several thousand square feet, then your cost per square foot for all those labor items is greatly reduced. Let's say we're coating something relatively small, like this room we're sitting in, which is about 150 square feet. Your cost for those same fixed items is going to be a lot more expensive. So it's really difficult to say everything is going to cost $5 a square foot. Because the reality is, if I'm coating something that's really, really small, then it's probably going to be a lot more than $5 a square foot. And if I'm coating something that's really big and we're going to use an economical coating, then maybe less than $5 a square foot. For the purpose of this video, let's talk about some average floor sizes. Let's say it's something over 1,000 square feet, maybe to 5,000 square feet in range, somewhere in there. If you wanted a solid color epoxy floor, in theory that can be achieved with a single color, a single coat of material, either a heavy duty coat of self-leveling epoxy or maybe a single coat of polyaspartic. Either way, those coatings have different pros and cons, but you could probably achieve a solid color smooth floor, and it could probably be as inexpensive as $3 a square foot. Maybe a little less, maybe a hair more if there's a lot of imperfections in the concrete, a lot of things to repair, but a good rule of thumb is probably somewhere around $3 a square foot. If you wanted something that's a little more durable, maybe a 2 or 3 coat system, an epoxy and urethane system, or a multi-layer epoxy and polyaspartic floor, possibly you're probably going to get up to closer to $5 a square foot. Again, those are solid color floor systems. Maybe we can incorporate a little aggregate, a little texture. If you wanted something with a little bit of traction, still going to be in that same range. From there, we start talking about other variables or options. Maybe you like the look of a multi-spec floor, right? They have little polymer flakes in it that are broadcast while the coatings are wet, or maybe a quartz aggregate. Those are very popular. They also add a lot of durability to floors. Now, when you start talking about those are multi-coat floors that have multiple layers of coating with broadcasted material in them. Again, square footages, we might be talking about $7 a square foot. Polymer flakes are slightly more expensive than quartz, but you have to use more quartz than you do polymer flakes to achieve that look. So those costs range and they vary. But for something in that 1,000 to 5,000 square foot range, maybe you're in that $7 to $8 a square foot. Again, depending on how much preparation has to be done to the floor. Also, something we really didn't talk about is polished concrete. Polished concrete is a very popular option. It's very durable. The great thing about that is that there's no coatings to fail. Polished concrete is literally polishing the existing concrete and making it shiny and putting a sealer on it that doesn't scratch off like coatings could potentially if they're damaged. Sometimes polished concrete is so economical, it can be down in the $3 a square foot range, maybe to $4.50 a square foot range. And that again depends on the level of polish. Polished concrete is generally considered a level 1, 2, 3, or 4 polish, and that's how shiny you actually make the floor. So again, if you want something that's really economical, inexpensive, we could be somewhere at $3 a square foot. If you wanted something very decorative or maybe very durable, very high end, maybe $7 to $8 a square foot. If it's a very small area, that per square foot price is going to be a lot more expensive. If it's a much larger area, that per square foot price is going to be less. So the really important thing is, how big is it, what do you want it to look like, and what is your ultimate goal?